Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have been wanting to film this for quite a while. I have actually filmed this video before, however when I filmed it and I just came to edit it, I wasn't impressed with it at all. I just didn't like it. I felt like I rambled a lot and I kind of just want to cut it down and just give you the basics of what this is going to be. For today's video, I am going to be talking about my tonsillectomy experience. This is going to be the painful, honest truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I had gotten my tonsils taken out about 2 months ago, and I just wanted to basically tell you guys what it was like, because when I first got them out, I was sort of questioning everything that was going on in my mouth, how I was feeling, and I noticed a lot of people have done these videos and they were very helpful to me. So I thought, well, what a better way than to help someone else. If you guys find this helpful, if you've ever had it done, then you might want to carry on watching if you want some info, or if you just want to see what happened to me when I was literally dying in my hospital bed. So let's get into it. I have been getting tonsillitis since I was about 12 years old up until May this year. I used to get it about once a year in March up until year 9 when we'd caught it, and I was in hospital each time that I'd gotten it. And basically as I got older it started to decrease. I didn't have it as much anymore, which was great news. Me and my mum basically thought I'd grow out of it until last year it came back again. I was back and forth to the doctors, to the dentist, to oral hygiene at the hospital, and they all said it was my throat. It took until May this year when I was back in hospital. I'd gotten it severely bad overnight where they had to take me in, and I said, look, enough's enough, something needs to interfere with my life, my uni, my job, my friends. I'm not doing this no more, something needs to be done. If you have had tonsillitis before, you will understand, because they are very reluctant to remove them. I don't understand why this is at all. When you have the surgery, which I'll talk about later, you can bleed a lot, which is why they can refuse to take them out. However, it's very rarely it happens. Normally you will have a smooth surgery. They clearly think, yeah, right, we're not going to take them out. They asked me if I wanted them taken out, and I was like, hell to the yes, I am not putting up with this shit no more. Actually, to the point where I was getting it every single month. I had to take time off uni, time off work. It wasn't ideal, so me and my mum was stressed they need to be taken out, which they were taken out in the end 2 months ago. So, the surgery, the dreaded bit. I had an operation before, so the thought of having something removed, especially from your mouth, is absolutely terrifying. You don't know what to expect at all. That's the whole top and bottom. You're like, how the hell are they going to do this? What are they going to do? So many questions run through your mind. The basic surgery itself, by the way, if I keep looking down, it's because I've got my notes here just to give you a bit of insight and professional information. However, I do know this is just from what I've researched. I'm not an expert in this whatsoever. You think I would be by the amount of times I've had it. This is just from my own personal experience. The surgery itself, it's performed if you have recurrent throat infections or sleep apnea. And basically, to get your tonsils removed, there has to be a certain amount of times you have to get tonsillitis. You have to have it 7 episodes of tonsillitis in 1 year, 5 episodes across 2 years, or 3 episodes across 3 preceding years. It's so stupid, I know. If you are in the same boat as me or have been, then you will know the stress of what it's like. I just kept looking down because I've got lipstick off my hand where I swatched it from when I just done that video, and it's on my cream joggers. I love that. Let me get some vanish on that. The surgery itself, it's performed as a general anaesthetic where you get knocked out. I was terrified getting this done because I've never been put to sleep before. I have been sedated before, but that's not as bad because you're not completely zonked out. I mean, you are unconscious, but you are a bit awake, so you're semi unconscious, if that makes sense. If you're squeamish, you might want to skip ahead for you. Basically what they do is they cut out the tonsils using a blade or a scalpel, or a specialised tool that uses heat or sound waves to remove or destroy the tissue and stop the bleeding. When you think about it, getting it done to yourself, it sounds like like that. Before I got mine taken out, I actually had watched a video where it's not a real person doing it. You don't see the blood and the gore and everything. It's basically an animated version of someone getting their tonsils taken out. It's a lot easier to watch than actual like the surgery itself. So I'll link it in one of these corners where you can go and you can click and watch it. It helped me a lot more to understand what they were actually going to do to me. Some people think I was strange for doing that. However, I felt a lot more reassured knowing what was going to happen instead of going into it blind, if that makes sense. I had got mine done, I think it was the 13th of June. So I went in, I was one of the last people on the list, so I went down last, about 3:30. Went in, they took my details, they put me on the bed, wheeled me through anaesthetic, put the cannula on the back of my hand, put 2 lots of fluid of anaesthetic through, and then I was out. I was like so terrified because I wasn't with my mum, I wasn't with my dad. It was very scary doing it on my own. If you are scared, there is people there to talk to, so do not worry, and everyone who's there will be going through similar surgeries or completely different surgeries, but don't worry about it, you are absolutely fine. I went to sleep and then I just remember waking up back in the anaesthetic room. Didn't actually wake up in the recovery room like you're meant to, I had to be different. So I woke up in the anaesthetic room, they were like, "Oh Caitlin, it's all over," and I was a bit like, what? Like I was lying there in pain, I was like drifting back off, and they were like, "Caitlin, you need to stay awake," and I'm like, oh, what's going on? So they wheeled me through back to recovery, and she just gave me a lot of pain relief. She was like, "How's your pain?" Mine was a good solid 7, like it absolutely killed. Like it was really bad. She had to give me morphine. It was a good solid 7, 8 out of 10. That's how bad it was. They did obviously say to me when I went back up to the ward, and my parents had come like literally 5 minutes later, they told them the surgery was very successful, and she'll be on the road to recovery now. And what happened was I was just absolutely out of it. I felt sick, I was crying, my throat was absolutely killing, I was spitting blood. It was just absolutely awful. I kept feeling like I needed the toilet. My mum had to literally walk me to the toilet because I was that weak. I was dehydrated, I was starving. My life was just a mess at this point. Like I was like, what is going to happen to me? And honestly, I was so stressed. It was absolutely awful. Like I'm not gonna say it out anything else. It is the worst pain I've ever been in my entire life, and I've had really bad tonsillitis before, but that was absolutely excruciating. Just even swallowing saliva was an absolute pain. If you've had it done, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Once you've had your surgery, you're most likely to go home the same day you've had it done, because it is not a big surgery at all. I think I read it takes about 40 to 60 minutes to do, so literally not a lot. You feel like you're away a lot longer than that, but you're honestly not. However, if you were really ill like me, they may obviously keep you overnight over observation, which is what they did with me. However, I did go home the next day. My mum came and got me, and honestly, like, it was quite scary because I couldn't still pass any urine at this point. And they said it was because I had no fluid in me, but I had been drinking fluid. However, it's hard to drink so much when you're in so much pain. As well, and my tonsils were actually classed as stage 4 kissing tonsils because they were that close and that big, and stage 4 is the worst you can get, so I did have a pretty bad experience with it. So the first tip is to take your medication. You'll probably have a lot of medication to take home with you when you've been discharged, and my advice is to take it all. Take your pain relief, honestly. I can't remember what I got. I think I got codeine, paracetamol, ibuprofen, and another one. It might be amoxicillin or something like that. And honestly, take all your pain relief because you're going to be very sore when you come home. So you want to make sure you're on top of that, and take it all till it's finished, because you don't want to take some of it and then leave it. And take it on time as well, so you might want to set a timer on your phone to tell you when your next lot of meds is to take. It's only every 4 hours generally with most medication, but make sure you read the information and labels on your box so you know how to take them. The next tip is drink lots of fluids. Now I know I was just moaning about drinking before, however once you've had them out you need to be drinking a lot of fluid because you want to avoid dehydration. If you don't drink you can dehydrate and there's possibilities if you can faint, you can get temperature, all that jazz. Like you don't want that, not after what you've just been through. So I highly recommend drink lots and lots of fluids, and trust me it'll ease it a bit. Not at first but you may want to drink through like a straw at first. This is what I did, it does help, and it just soothes your throat a bit as well. Stick to water, and then maybe a couple of days in you might want to try like fruit juices or fruit flavoured water. Avoid things like fizzy pop, alcohol obviously. You might want to try some tea or coffee, but I was really put off tea and coffee for a while, but it's entirely up to you, everyone's different, but make sure you drink lots of fluids. The next thing is rest. Now after you've obviously had surgery you're going to want to rest. You might sleep a lot, and they say do rest for the first 7 days. I think for the first 2 or 3 days I was just laying in bed all day, just catching up on sleep, resting my body, so it was really good for me. Then I started to go to the sofa and things like that, but you have to stay indoors for the first 7 days. This is just prone to avoid infection and things like that. You want to stay away from crowds as you can pick things up quite quickly off other people. After 7 days or after about 5 days or something you might be feeling a tiny bit better. You may want to do something little like make your bed, which is what I did. Just once a day do a little task just to get your strength up a bit, just because you don't want to be laying around all the time. You do want to be a little bit active, and then after a week you might feel you're ready to walk down to your local shop or just go sit in the garden for a bit if it's a nice day. Just things like that, or even just take the dog out if you've got a pet, just you know, so you're being a little bit more active, because after about 7 to 10 days you will be feeling a lot better, which is perfectly normal and it's how you should be feeling. Next step is food, the dreaded eating bit, because after surgery you're probably thinking, how the hell am I going to eat? I'm going to starve, I don't know what to do. Well, your sister's here to help you, because your sister went through it too, and I'm telling you now, like, it was horrible, but I'm going to give you some of the insights of what I ate. The do's, like I said, lots of fluid, lots and lots of fluid. It clears your throat, it stops you from getting a dry throat as well, and it's great. So lots of fluid. You might even do this through the night, because I found my throat was really bad through the night, especially when I first woke up, because it was so dry. So 100% drink lots and lots of fluid. Ice pops I found were a godsend. I started with ice cream, but they say if you've got a sore throat don't eat ice cream, which is weird because they normally, you hear from people who's had the tonsils taken out who's got a sore throat say eat ice cream. I'd recommend ice pops instead, because it's just pure ice, so it's just going down the back of your throat, and it's honestly, it is so soothing. So I think we just had like the fruit pastel ones, and it just added a bit of flavour as well, a bit of fruitiness. So yeah, 100% recommend that. Soup is another good shout, just because it can run straight down the back of your throat, especially in the first couple of days. You don't want to be eating greasy food. I remember I had some eggy bread, some French toast. I had that after about 2 days. I was sick because my stomach lining was still quite sensitive, so obviously it was a bad mistake trying to eat that. So no greasy food, no takeout, just nice solid homely food. So things like soups and broths are really good, and plus you'll be getting your nutrients off your veg as well. Things like soft puddings and things like that, or mashed potato, are really good. You just want to eat lots and lots of soft foods on the first couple of days, because even though your surgery was on your throat, you will find that other parts of your body will be hurting. So my uvula, so your dangly thing at the back of your throat, that swelled up, my tongue swelled up, my teeth were aching, they felt like they were going to fall out. It was awful. Like, it's not just your throat that's bad, it's everything else with it, so you want to be eating lots of soft food. However, after a few days you might want to be eating things like veg and stuff like that, just to add a little bit more solid food back into your diet. Because they do recommend to try eat progressively as normally as you can, just so you can get things back to normal, and it's good as well because it means you'll be getting the food intake that you need. I started eating biscuits and stuff, and even though they were hard, I ate them really slowly, and they were really tasty as well. I missed the taste of them. So yeah, 100% eat things like that. It's quite good for you. The don'ts. So like I said before, avoid spicy, greasy or acidic food, just because you don't want anything that's going to upset your throat and especially upset your stomach as well. Another thing I just want to quickly mention, which I didn't mention before, is the risks of getting your tonsils removed. Like with anything, there always comes a risk. So you can have a reaction to the anaesthetic, swelling, bleeding and infection. The main one is the bleeding, because they told me that you want to be very careful. So if you bleed and you've got blood in your saliva, that's completely normal. It is nothing to worry about. It's when you're progressively bleeding, it is quite worrying, because when you get them taken out, you'll have white patches on where they've been removed, and this is called your scabs. And once you're bleeding, it means your scabs might have fallen off or coming off. It's like if you've got a graze on your knee and it's scabbed over, and say if you it comes off or you pick at it or something like that, it'll start bleeding. It's the same in your throat. So if you do progressively bleed, or if you have anything like that, then you want to go straight to A&E to get that looked at, because it can be quite serious if you don't. So basically that's all the things I wanted to mention in this video. If you find that you are getting them out or you're considering removing them, then I highly doubt it if you were like me and you suffer a lot, because honestly, once you get it done, it is the best thing that's ever happened. Like, once I got mine done, I absolutely hated it because I was so ill with it. However, I'm fit as anything now. I'm so healthy. I haven't been ill in ages, touch wood. So honestly, I'm so happy I got mine done. It may not be at the time when you're like really sore, crying with eating, your voice is all croaky and it's all different, then honestly it is absolutely fine. It's completely normal and you will get better, so don't worry. It may seem horrible at the time, but you do improve and you do get better. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video and it shedded a bit of insight into when I had mine taken out, because I never ever addressed it really on like social media. I think I put it in an Instagram caption when I uploaded a photo one time, but I've never properly talked about it, and I did want to do a sit down video. I really hoped you enjoyed this. Make sure to give it a like and comment down below what you thought. If you've actually ever had yours removed before. If you've had tonsillitis, let me know. I'm an absolute expert on it, I kid you not. And yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, because I upload videos every Sunday. Yeah, I can't wait to see your gorgeous faces back here again for another video. So, bye!